Okay.
Yes, I had no idea what the hell that was. So I
That
wasn't
was,
ripping it off.
you know what it is? Here they want you to select, there's certain T cells, like this is a T15, this accommodates 40,000 gallons. There's a T9 and a T3, and if this is not set right, see it says T15? If it wasn't set right, then the cell would either burn out and it wouldn't produce what you need for chlorine. Okay. If you want, I don't do it. It's not because I'm lazy. It would take me, I'd be here for a couple of hours because I don't do it that much. You could set this up to see voltage, a whole bunch of stuff. I never set it up because no one ever uses it. I did it twice and the people never used it or screwed it up. You don't need to know that much with this system. All I'm going to tell you, the two things you know, the 3400, that's this right here, this, which is going to be on the screen every time you open it up,
that's what
is your parts per million. That's your salt level, okay? The ideal salt level is 32. 34 and 36 is fine because your pool size, it depends. I kind of go by pool size. It's not regular chlorine, so you're not going to notice it, okay? They're going to say that this is okay. 36, they might say, I think they say it on the thing, dilute. You know, I got the sheet that says dilute. Some people have been at 4,000 and you don't even notice. At 4,000, it's supposed to say high salt, okay? So, this number right here is the amount of salt that your pool needs to generate chlorine, okay? Everybody's pool is exactly the same. Everybody needs to be at 32. If your pool is a 14 by 26, you might only need 500 pounds of salt to get it at 32. You guys might need 25 bags of salt to get it. It's just to get to this level with your gallons. You follow?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have mine's 25 gallons.
Okay.
So it's a little bit less.
So it's a little bit less, but it's just the initial startup is just how many bags of salt or pounds of salt that you need. But your number and his number are going to be exactly the same. Okay. It's just different gallons.
Yeah. I need 5 bags, you need 3.
Exactly, to get to that level. Okay.
All right.
So, so what I'm explaining to both of you right now is exactly the same on your pool. It's not because his pool's bigger or anything like that.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to keep the dial at 50. Okay. Right. The reason why is, and then this is going to go to explain the muriatic acid for the salt cell. These are made for hot weather areas. This was made for California, Florida, because in California I think they banned chlorine to store in your house or in a shed because it gets so hot, the fumes and stuff like that. So what happens is salt doesn't evaporate. So when the system shuts down, the salt stays in the pool. It doesn't mean that you're going to taste it. It's not like you're jumping in the ocean. It just reuses it. The only way the salt gets out of the pool is if it rains and dilutes or the kids splash it out. It's the only time you lose salt, okay? So the system reuses itself all the time. So at 3,400, you're fine. You're a little bit above the 32, perfect. You can go down to 2,800, 27, 2,800. It's still going to generate chlorine. Once you get below that, it will not generate. Once you get too high, I don't know if it halts it, but it will say high salt, which you'll just have to dilute it, which you pump it down, add a little bit of water, pump it down, give it dialysis kind of.
Yeah.
All right.
Until it just says it's
exactly. All right. Not much.
It needs to stay at 3,200.
Okay, it's supposed.
Well, that's average.
That's average. 32 is average. I'll give you this: 27 to 36 is where you're going to generate chlorine. If you go under 27, what will happen is inspect cell and check salt will go on. You see, if you guys can see, it says generating. It says power and it says generating. If that light's on, you're making chlorine. Okay. If it's not on, there's an issue. There's another light. I'll give you, for example, no flow. When you shut down the system and it restarts, that no flow will flicker for like 30 seconds. Then it will click off and the generating light will come on. If that was broke, I've seen them break. If it breaks and you come in here, because I tell people, everyone, to check everything on a Saturday, just, you know, or twice a week, but mostly on a Saturday morning. Hey, check this, check your pump, check your pressure, check your chemicals, okay? So you want to make sure that that flow switch isn't bad. because if it's not saying generating, it's not going to happen.
Not gonna-
Okay? So everything I'm explaining to you, it tells you what the lights are on the side here.
Alright.
It gives you a little dummy thing. So, oh, what's going on? What did he say? Just check over here. Okay? So we're looking at 3,200, 3,400, 3,600, doesn't matter in that realm. If the salt level is too low, you'll just add salt. You'll run the pool, keep the pool running. All you do is you take the bag of salt, cut it open, walk around the pool. If it goes down to the bottom, it will sit at the bottom. You got to buy a brush it into the main drains. It will probably take 24 hours for the system to register, so it won't go up right away. Okay, I've seen it where if you brush a lot of salt in right away, the unit will say high salt because it's sucked in all the stuff. It will register later on. Okay, going back, we're leaving this at 50%. If you put this at 100%, you'll burn out the cell.
Okay.
The reason why is, going back to California, Florida, Arizona, it's not 85 degrees on average every day, 12 months. It's just not. No one closes their pool.
Yeah.
They don't even know what an opening and closing is. It's just, they keep it open all the time. They also have gunite pools. There's no vinyl pools out of the Northeast, pretty much. It's only the Northeast, Midwest. Everything else is gunite. They use calcium-based. They use calcium. It's called hardness for the concrete, to keep the concrete going. We don't use it. So if you guys get your water tested somewhere, they're going to be your hardness is low, because the kids don't know. They just go by what the test says.
Yes.
If
Yeah,
you're
well,
low,
it's,
you need it. Simple as that. Hardness is only for concrete pools. If you never see bag shock,
Yeah.
that's calcium based. It's calcium hypochlorite. So if you put calcium in your pool, it's going to register that you got it. Follow what I'm saying? So
Right.
you're never going to use a bag shock. Okay? You don't need to use
Always
shock,
use a liquid.
which I'll explain. There they put calcium in the pool. The calcium deposits on the cell. That's why you got to use muriatic acid to clean the cell, because they're putting calcium in, which deposits
got
on
that
there.
off, yeah.
You're not. Also, we only have a 3-month season technically. Most people are open in June, July, August. Kids go back to school, close up, we're done. If you have the heater, you prolong it, even if you have 4 or 5 months,
Right.
depending on
Yeah.
the weather. The cell, it says inspect cell, it will come on in 3 months or 500 hours, whatever kind of comes first. All that's doing is to remind you that to check your cell. Most of the time the season's over with. This might not come on until next year. Okay, if it does come on, it will tell you on here, you hold down this button for 3 seconds, the inspect cell will come off. The reason why it's doing that is it's saying, hey, maybe there's calcium deposits on there. Check it out. You don't have to worry about it. You're not using anything like that, because they'll check it 4 times a year, every 3 months. That's why they do it in every 3-month cycle. So when I open it, I don't know what everyone does, I'll look in there. You're not supposed to stick anything and scrape it off. I'll hose it out, but you're really never going to have to. You're never going to have deposits on it, unless you guys just say, I want to use bag shock, I don't care what he said. And it will eventually deposit on there.
So we shouldn't use bag shock.
No.
Or liquid.
Or you can use liquid.
You can use liquid.
You
That's
can
what
use
they
liquid,
They put
and
in.
why you can use liquid, it's sodium based. It's sodium hypochlorite. If you look on the back, it's a salt based. Your pool is making that, but that's just man-made. So it's a little bit harsher, but it's the same principle. If you want to shock your pool, which is, you got little kids, you have a bunch of kids in the pool, you know they're peeing in the pool. Even if you have adults, they're probably peeing in the pool. So you have a big party or a really heavy rainstorm, you're going to notice with the vinyl steps, you'll get a little bit of algae. Okay? You might not see it, but you'll feel it. You have to brush it to introduce it in the water. Then you'll superchlorinate. All superchlorinate is, you'll hit this, you'll see the third light come on that says superchlorinate.
Yep.
Okay? What I recommend you do, because it tells you when you superchlorinate to run the pool for 24 hours.
Put it on V3.
V3. So now it's 10 o'clock, say it's 9 o'clock right now. Run it till 9 o'clock in the morning. So at 9 o'clock in the morning will be V1. We'll go back to the V1 thing, and then I'll just put this back to auto.
Okay.
What that does is it internally puts it to 100, and then it will go back when you put it back to auto.
Yeah, but we've done shock in the pool. We've never done that. Yeah, no.
That's fine though. You know what? You're not hurting anything.
Okay.
You're not hurting anything at all. Some people
Most
don't.
Like, oh, the pool needs shock. I'm like, all right.
But that's fine. This is just using what you bought.
Okay.
To,
And when
to
you do shock, you literally pour it in
pour
the
around
pool,
the
right?
Listen, your pool's
everything just goes right in the
shock.
pool.
Shock. A gallon of shock does like 10,000 gallons. So even if you use 2 gallons or 1 gallon, what it's just trying to do is just literally give a shock to the pool to get the chlorine levels going. You can use 1 gallon and be fine.
Do you really need to do that often, or okay?
I never shock my pool.
Okay.
You know what I do if after I vacuum, if I vacuum, or which I never do, or if I had a lot of people in the pool, or really heavy rain, I brush the pool, get like the algae that's sticking to the walls, and just do shock that way. I don't have a salt system. I never put one on. When I built my pool, these were kind of new, and I didn't know them, and they were way more money than they are now. So, so I was like, So that's the only time, like superchlorinate is if you have a lot of kids, like I said, or the rain, or if you're fanatical and say, I want to do it once a week. You're using the natural stuff, so you're not going to bleach the liner. Even the natural shock, the shock that you're using, you're not going to really bleach the liner by only doing it. Some people religiously do it once a week. I think it's overkill. I think it's way overkill. If you do it once a month, I think that's fine. If you're keeping up with your pool, you don't really have to do it. It's more like, oh, we got to do it. We got to do it. You have 15 kids in the pool, I would do it. If you got 2 kids in the pool, it's really not that big deal. The chlorine is sanitizing what's in there.
Right.
It's just for major bather loads and heavy rain and stuff like that. You're pretty much going to leave this like this. You have the remote. You guys don't have the automated system, which you don't need to worry about. The high salt, like I said, will go on, and the check salt will go on if you need it. If the check salt and the no flow are on, like I said, the generating will not go. Okay, I think, let's stop this for a second.
There's
You see,
no
but you
flow?
see how it's on? But when I return on, I think there's still enough pressure in the system. I don't know if it will. Okay, see how it's blinking?
Mm-hmm.
See how it's not generating?
Yeah.
If the switch was bad, it would be solid and there'd be no generating. So you would notice the pool might be turning on you a little bit. That's if you got lazy and weren't checking this. This is a once or twice a week, you're just opening it up. Okay?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
already
good,
generating.
good. If you go online and look at the tutorial, they'll explain to set some things up that you really don't need to. The only other thing, if you didn't have a heater, if you wanted to know, the next number is your pool temperature.
All right.
It's 80
that's what I
degrees.
thought.
Okay? They might be calibrated the same. That might say 79, might say 81.
Yeah, but they'll be
this
around each other
this is
anyway.
around about. Okay, so if you didn't have the heater, you wanted to know everything else. This is like watts. There's an alkalinity setting that gets a little confusing. And then you have your T15. Just in case your cell goes, which I don't know, it could be 7 years, it could be 10 years, I don't know. And you put it in, it's set for T15, but let's say there was a power failure and you had to reset it. That's the only thing you would have to do. And then we're at 3,400. This is the number that you have to worry about. Now you're gonna say to me, well, what happens if I'm at 2,400, what do I do? How many bags of salt? I got the paperwork for you. I'm highlighting how many gallons you have. Because I wasn't sure if you had an 8-foot pool, sometimes gallons change. I can accommodate for that. I'm going to highlight it. It will say, which I'll show you in a minute, it will say 36,000 gallons, and then you go this way, and it'll say 24, and you go down and say, okay, I need 200 pounds. They're 40-pound bags, so you do the math. Right? And it will say to get to ideal, to get to this. It's a really simple chart. Like I said, I don't know if the guys gave you the paperwork. I don't even know if it gives you the chart, but I give it to people because the back of the bags are only like 10,000, 20,000, and 30,000, and it tells you, and it's kind of stupid. So this gives you a better idea of what you're doing. But this you only have to check once a week. Okay? Just for that number.
Right.
Okay? When you guys open your pool, well, if you guys got your brick done this year, and you put a loop lock on, they're going to tell, either way, they're going to tell you to pump your pool down, okay? So what happens is